Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so game time starts up in about 4 hours. I don't know if I have much to add to this game in terms of commentary, talking about these two teams, all of that. I don't think I have a whole lot to share there, but I do want to sound off about not skipping steps because I'm listening to all the big dogs talk about the Lakers. And I'm looking at all this clickbait talking about the Lakers, and I'm just guarding against buying into things that don't necessarily tell us the truth about who we are and what it is we're up against. Can we win the championship? Sure, there's a path for us to win a championship with our roster, the West being so weak, with the East being so top heavy, knowing that whoever comes out of the East is going to have a very tough Eastern Conference path, no matter who they are. They're going to get beat up. There's a chance that we could be in that position. There's also a chance that every other team in the Western Conference could be in that position. That's how open it is, and that's how real this is. None of these teams are perfect, but I legitimately think that we have one of the best rosters the in the league, in the league right now. From top to bottom, we have more reliable pieces than a lot of teams have. And throughout the playoffs, I truly believe that that's going to matter a lot, especially when you're talking about certain players who are in the league that are going to be leaned upon a lot, and what their injury history is and how my expectations are for their durability in these playoffs. Health is going to tell the story. There's a lot of teams that are expecting to make a tough run. Knock on wood, hopefully all of them stay healthy, but that's not the league we're in. And I just want us to stay healthy by utilizing more of our bench instead of shortening it. And of course, not skipping steps. And understanding, even though we're in the playoffs, it's still basketball for one. And two, we need to be running plays and reps. Plays and reps. I mean, if we don't practice that much as a team, it's already been talked about at nauseum. So, in game situations are going to require for us to be sharp and on point. And I just think that this team needs to not so much rely on the things that you otherwise should. You know what I mean? Bron James, Anthony Davis giving the ball 100 times in a row. And the defense collapses in on that, and then other players are cold, and then everybody gets in where it fits in. I just don't think that's the way this team is constructed. That's the way the NBA usually works. Superstars first, everybody second. And we definitely want a shooting pecking order. But as pertains to the flow of the game, this team's roster is somewhat I don't know if I have the right word, but it should be able to blend with whatever it is that it needs to defend. But the sacrifice will be that sometimes the stars will not necessarily be on the floor for the betterment of those matchups. But if we're always thinking offense, then that doesn't apply. And we need to try to do things that help us score better than the offensive tries that I think we've had. You know, some of the stuff that we try to do when we think offense leaves us too vulnerable defensively. And I don't think that's necessary given the fact that some of our defensive players can very much play on both sides. So that's really on what I'm hopeful will be the change here. But I don't think that our coach and our coaching staff see our roster in a way that I do. I think they have certain other things that they're trying to do, certain other aspects of this roster that needs to be featured more so for outside agendas. And I just think that leaves us a significantly lesser basketball club from night to night. We're able to get away with it because we end up being able to sub in those players just because they're available to us that would otherwise help us dominate. But we don't rotate them in ways that I think will really dominate teams as of yet. And I say that with hesitation because once you get to the playoffs, maybe that changes once you have a chance to scheme in on teams every night. You're thinking about one team, you play them 7 times or what have you. Maybe we'll see a difference in regards to how Darvin Ham does these things as opposed to seeing a different team every night and having to, you know, scheme that way as opposed to having a one set team to zero in on. So this is when coaching really becomes a thing, man. You get to see who's preparing properly, who has different ways of creating opportunities to showcase their strengths and hide their weaknesses, who's able to exploit the other guy's weaknesses, you know what I mean, and try to stifle whatever it is that's possible to stifle. So these are things that we're going to learn about our coach. Entirely different game now for him. And judging by what we've seen on the regular season, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned, especially going up against some of these coaches that have been there, done that, and will continue to do that going forward. Um, this is just when you learn. And I don't know that we can afford to, bump our head in these situations and expect to end up a champion. So that's been my concern the whole time. This is why I was kind of against giving a rookie coach a win-out situation. But now that we're here, we just got to grit our teeth and hope for the best. And that's why I'm not ready to say we're going to win the championship. That's why. And I don't think the NBA media sphere is really looking at it that way as of yet. I think they will have those narratives lined up if the Lakers fail. They'll be blaming stuff on him and AD, and they'll figure that part out. But my thing is, I don't want to wait to lose to start figuring out what we can do to keep from ever finding ourselves in those positions. And one of the things we got to do is just find ways of just scheming better, and we need to be sharp in that way, so that they never have that narrative to use on us. So that's what it is, man. It's up to our team to help Darvin Ham. Obviously, as a rookie, he's going to need help, man. And so that's it. That's all it is to it. Tonight, we're lucky enough to have a soft matchup. But a soft matchup can also lead to mistakes being made. A soft matchup can lead to us trying to match up with them by going smaller and leaving them a rebounding advantage where otherwise they shouldn't have one. These are the type of things that I'm concerned that Darvin's going to do, because they are going to be lining up an offensive matchup, trying to get offensive shots from behind the arc. He may think he needs to outscore them and then lean in on Beasley and Troy Brown shoot threes and Bron shooting threes, and make this a very tight and close game when Vando's not on the floor, when AD sits down. Like, these are the type of things that I just think, because we've seen us do that against Phoenix and Utah and various teams in a one-game situation, which this is, you may see yet again some type of mistake like that doesn't lean in on the strengths of the team, but more so just kind of features stuff and it leans in on the guards. I see, I'm not a guard guy. I like that we have strong guards, but I don't want to lean in on my guards for everything that we do. I think the opposite way. I like getting easier buckets, closer to the basket, taller, all that other stuff. So when he's looking to be offensive, he tends to lean in on all the guards, like shoving them to the top of the depth chart, and then from there, the forwards and all that other stuff that matters in the paint kind of seems to me it gets neglected within what it is that we're trying to focus on. It's like Vando's just kind of thrown into the power forward situation, and because we have him down there with offensive lineups, we're running plays for him and stuff like that, not working out as we complain about all the time. So it's just various things like that. And I just think in the playoffs, it's going to hurt us. We got to be smart. And so that's really what it comes down to, man. My expectations on this team is high. If we see good schemes, I believe in this squad and this roster and the ability for it to overcome what comes at it, pretty much. I think a lot of the analysts have it right when they say the Lakers can get to the finals out of the West. I just don't see any team that in a 7-game series should be able to stop this roster when it's 100% healthy. I don't. Not Phoenix ain't deep enough. Sacramento doesn't have enough experience. Golden State, we've had their number for the past 2 years, basically. Every time we see them, we beat them. It's sort of like the Clippers when they see us. It's just a certain type of thing where you have a team's number, and that's just it. If for some reason we end up losing this game and win the next game and end up with the other path, which will take us to the 8th seed, if for some reason something crazy like that happens, I like us over Denver. And then from there, we would see the Clippers. I don't really love us against the Clippers, but I'm not sure they're beating Phoenix. I like us against Phoenix. Y'all know that. So that's a better path for me. And then from there, we would see whoever we see coming out of this side of the bracket, Memphis or whoever would come out of this side of the bracket, Golden State. So that's an easier path to me. But that doesn't look as likely at all. So these are the type of things that I'm looking at. It's like path is going to determine what it is. I'm one of those people that's not in love with the Laker-Memphis matchup. I'm not really in love with that. I think we can win that matchup, but I think it's going to give us a very hard punch in the mouth. And we could probably walk out of that thing more banged up than we want to, because how physical that team is ultimately going to be in a 7-game series. Not the team you want to face in the first round. So I don't think they're very efficient. I don't really believe in them that much. But when they have the type of talent that they have, I just think they're kind of being forgotten about a little bit. And I think that's a very dangerous thing, given the fact that they were able to weather the storm with all their players being able to being in and out of the lineup, all kinds of other stuff going on with Memphis, and they still were able to hover at the top of the Western Conference, basically. That's a telltale sign that they'll be able to withstand stuff in the playoffs. and that kind of thing, injuries and such. So yeah, not really in love with that matchup. I'm really not. So it's a lot of stuff that's in the way of me looking at this thing and just saying, "Oh, the Lakers are just going. We're going to the final." I see. I think my homer mindset leans in on the fact that this roster should be confident every night. But if I was just looking at the Lakers from afar, let's say I was a Knicks fan or something, looking at the Lakers, it's on Darvin. You know, it's on Darvin, bro. It really comes down to, is Darvin going to be a good rookie coach or is he going to be a silly rookie coach? If he's a silly rookie coach in the playoffs, he's probably going to get swept. Like, you're not going to even win the game. But if he's a good rookie coach and he gives, if he's able to scheme right and get these players on the floor to make sense, keep that chemistry solid between Bron and AD and all those guys so that they don't implode like the Minnesota Timberwolves, then obviously you have an opportunity with the roster. Obviously. You know what I mean? I think anybody all over, if you're aware of what the Lakers put together, you know that this team can do something. They really can. But schemes, man. Schemes got to make sense. And so that's what it really comes down to after watching so much of that this year. You just hope for the best. So that's where we at. Lakers will be trying to be the best team on the floor tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I just don't know what to expect from them other than to say I've seen teams in situations like this. Only once in a while do they actually find themselves coming together to really make a great night out of it. Usually in situations like this, the team just falls flat. They've been hit with too much. It's the end of the season. They're in Los Angeles. They're probably thinking about going, like I said about the Utah Jazz after the Los Angeles game. You can end your season in Los Angeles. They're probably expecting to. Well, they do have to play another game. I forget about that. No, they got to play another game. I'm in that thought. But nevertheless, they're probably thinking they're not going to win. And you know what I mean? I don't know if they're going to come out with the competitive mindset that they need to really turn this into like a Cinderella type of matchup tonight. I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's really what it comes down to, man. But Anthony Edwards is the type of player that I think could be a part of something like that. He can make a night big for a situation, but he's just not going to have the running mates tonight. Karl Towns, I don't know if he's going to be able to suit up as of yet or not, but given the fact that he's questionable tells me he's a little banged up one way or another. He's going to have to be the best version of himself tonight for his team, rebounding, defensively. He just got to play outside himself, and he's just not in that type of shape, obviously. So yeah, it should be a good night. We're waiting for the game to start. You don't want any letdowns. You don't like the fact that it's so obvious that your team could win like this, because there's only one thing that makes me nervous about a situation like this: betting. Somebody's going to make a lot of money if the Minnesota Timberwolves win this basketball game, because it's not to be expected at all. Not to be expected at all. And in this weird NBA environment, you just know that something weird can happen. Somebody's due to benefit from something like this going completely the other way. And then from there, like a $1 bet can turn to like $1 million in a game like this. So that's the only thing that concerns me. Will there be some bull crap? Like some absolute bull crap that makes it so that we see a certain thing that just isn't natural. Other than that, they're not going to be able to do nothing against the Lakers tonight. They should not be able to do what they need to do to be able to be the 7th seed and play the Memphis Grizzlies. And I don't know that they would want to anyway, because from what I understand, they've had a horrible way with the Memphis Grizzlies. So for all I know, that's what a lot of this is about, trying to get away from Memphis. But that seems like a lot more trouble than necessary to do that. So yeah, man, that's it. That's really what it is. I'm excited about this opportunity the Lakers have, though. I do like that we're in a position to have such a good play-in tournament situation. This is one of those things, though. If you happen to drop this game, do understand that the next game is going to be significantly more difficult. It's as a significantly better team that we would be seeing in the second play-in game, which is not how this thing's supposed to be designed. Not at all. And keep in mind that both of those teams that are playing that other tournament, the other game, OKC and New Orleans, they are praying that you win this game, Lakers, and don't fall to them. They don't want to see you at all. They are looking forward to a depleted Minnesota team that they feel they should be able to mollywop, just like we feel we should be able to mollywop them tonight. So, for whatever that's worth, I'm pretty sure New Orleans does not want us to win this, and OKC definitely doesn't either. So, that's where I'm at, man. Also, I was thinking about MVPs. Now that we've gotten so close to where we are, I've been screaming all year that I think Jokic is going to get MVP, but I think he pulled back at the end of the season with that leg injury, and everything was leaning on whether or not he was going to be able to play enough games to offset the stellar seasons of Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he actually did not. He didn't play enough games. That's what it really came down to. Embiid was coming on too strong, and Giannis was too dang consistent. And for what they were doing, for the, I think, voter fatigue to ultimately phase Jokic out. So I've been saying that I think he was going to get it, but I do not necessarily feel that way now. He still got a chance. But I just don't feel like the voters are leaning that way, listening to some of the talk that's going on. So that's what I want to say. I'm not sure who's going to get it. If I'm predicting right now, I mean, my initial prediction was Jokic, so I don't want to go off of it. I'll just say my prediction was wrong. If he doesn't, in fact, get it, which I don't think he will. The prediction was always Jokic. But right now, it looks like they're going to give it to Joel Embiid. That's what I'll say. I think they're going to give it to Joel. And I think he's deserving. He was always deserving. It was just the fact that Jokic was always in position to just edge him out a little bit more. Also, Giannis, listening to JJ Redick and how he was putting it together, he was essentially making a good case for Giannis. And Giannis does have more so an edge in a lot of different statistical categories coupled with winning. So I think that does play in his favor. But I do believe that because Giannis has had it and Jokic has had it twice, I do believe that voters are going to lean toward giving it to Joel just to make sure he has one. But that didn't always work out for James Harden. There was a year where I thought that was the case and they didn't give it to him. So we'll see. But it is what it is. I just wanted to kind of speak on that a little bit because I know that people are probably waiting for me to update on what it is I think or give official prediction on that, and I already had months and months ago. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Laker game at 7 o'clock. And, of course, the other playing game, Miami and Atlanta, that one is, I think, is at 5. I think it's at 5 or something like that. Maybe 4:30. Not certain, but that is the first game. And if you guys follow me, I already gave a prediction on that one. I think Atlanta's winning that game. But I ain't had no real studying behind it. I didn't know the tendencies of both of those teams. I was just throwing a rabbit in the hat, so don't take nothing from that particular matchup in regards to my prediction. It's whatever. I just said Atlanta, because I think DeJounte Murray is going to bring a dynamic to that Atlanta team, coupled with Saddiq Bey, the acquisition of him halfway through the season. I think just makes them an overall better team than the Miami Heat. Now, Miami has a more reliable player over there, Jimmy. And Bam, they have the experience, obviously, Tyler. But in my mind, I just think that Atlanta has a chance to throw a little more at them than they normally do. But that was before I found out Atlanta had been struggling with them all year. And Trae Young particularly plays terrible against the Heat. I didn't know that when I said that, so whatever. I'm still going to say Atlanta and just see what happens. But it is what it is, man. That's what I want to say to you guys. Hope everybody enjoys the play-in tournament basketball games tonight. And, of course, I'll have something at the end of the Laker game, as I always do. Nothing changes in regards to that. So that's what's up, man. BDO 44. I thank you all for watching.